Welcome back to the Mind Body Project. Thanks for joining me today. Please welcome my guest today, 600 pounds of Granny Smith apples, Mother's secret pie crust recipe, and an encouraging family is how Sweet Mother of Pies started. She is the owner and best pie maker in Hood, Texas. Please welcome my guest today, Miss Betti Jo Weber.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you, Aaron.
So we're out here in Hood, Texas. Most people probably aren't going to know where Hood, Texas is because I didn't even know we were in Hood, Texas, and I'm 45 minutes down the road.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of start. We're going to get to all the pie making, all that good stuff. But this is the Mind Body Project, and it's about reconstructing and constructing new thoughts. And so you and I, Judy, we have a mutual friend, Judy, and she trains with me, and we're friends. And she had told me about probably a year ago about Betti Jo and her pies. I said, "Well, that's great. That sounds really good." And just the first of the year, Judy had an event, Plant Your Dreams, Grow Your Vision, and you were there, and you needed help with your word. And so I came over. We were talking about your word. Then I realized this is the pie lady. This is her. And so we got to talking, and I said, "I want you to be on my podcast because I think it'll be great." And so, and this is really the first time we've sat down together. We talked a little bit at the event, but this is the first time we've really had some conversation. And so I pull up out here to the pie house. We're sitting in the pie house, which is just, it's a house, but also it's on a property that's just beautiful. You have a chandelier shed and a little trailer. It's just a neat space. So I come out here and it's just so peaceful and nice. We're doing this in February. We have the front door open, the screen door. The weather's perfect.
Yes, we're lucky.
Yes, and so that's just how things work sometimes. When we put ourselves out there, I said yes to Judy that I'd do her event. You said yes, you'd come. Struggling with the word, and we got connected. And then here we are talking about Sweet Mother of Pie, and we're going to talk about how it started. But this hasn't always been your place. I mean, it hasn't. Kind of tell us the history of the space we're in, the pie house.
Okay. Well, we moved out here in Hood, which is, it does exist. Obviously, you're here, but
Yes.
it's not on all the maps. So people don't really know anymore.
Yeah, because my GPS didn't even say Hood, Texas.
No, the address says Gainesville.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Because it's not on all the maps. But it was a booming town back before we got here. We moved out to Hood in '94. And our oldest was about to start kindergarten, and I needed out in the country, back to the country was where I was raised. And so we, like I said, our house is the old Hood grocery store, and it's pretty quirky, but it's fun. This is an old farmhouse next to ours, which we had precious neighbors that lived here, and we just visited all the time with them. We ended up doing a living estate. And then after they had both passed away, I come over and had a little bit of cleaning to do and work it through. So I had no idea, but I had mentioned to my kids, I have 4 kids, and I had mentioned to them, I'll do a bed and breakfast, which they thought I was crazy, that nobody's going to come to Hood. You only really get lost. That's how you get out here. And I said, well, whatever I do, that I wanted my mother's name in it. She was amazing. She has passed away, but she gave me my love of baking, which that was not in the picture right then, but she's just amazing. So I wanted her name in it. Thinking mother-daughter, Jody's daughter, something. And but this was way before. Thought about, and then you mentioned the apples. So once I figured out I could make a pie or two out of 600 pounds of apples.
So where'd you get 600 pounds of apples?
That we had Granny Smith apple trees out on our land, and picked them and thought I need a pie crust recipe. So I called my mother before she passed away and got that and rolled out a few pies, maybe 111 pies out of that, and then made pie filling, quarts of pie filling. And so but I just would give them away or, whatever they need, wherever they need to go. Not thinking much of that. And then that later evolved into me baking for holidays for people. But by this time, I'm at the school, at the little school close to us where the kids went to school.
Still working there?
Yes, I was doing life skills. And anyway, after 8 years of that, went on and got out of the school and not really knowing, kind of just minding my own business. And then my kids were encouraging me, why don't you do something with pies? Do something with, I said, what will I do any different than what I do now? And then my daughter came up with Sweet Mother of Pies. And so my mother is the sweet mother.
The sweet mother.
Yeah. And that was January of 2016. And here we are. Doing a podcast, and I can't believe it. But yeah, so there's a lot of in between. So you just ask me whatever.
So your daughter comes up with the name.
Yes.
And then your son says, "Hey, Mom, we need a Facebook page."
Right. They put it on Facebook, and people are liking it and like the page. And I thought, well, that's fun. And then I didn't get a pie order right away, so I said, "Oh, this is like." You make 7th grade cheerleader, but still don't have a boyfriend. I've got to sell some pies here if we're going to do anything. And then word of mouth, it went. The kids, they live in Waco, my daughter and her husband. And I delivered several, like 52 pies down there. And then, like I say, word of mouth, it is just taken off. And I can't explain it, except it's very easy to explain. I have thoughts in my head and dreams and think of things all the time. And then God says, I'll trump that. I can do even better. And whatever I think, He has made it bigger.
So when Sweet Mother Pie started, did you start doing it out here? Was this already finished, the space we're in, the pie house?
The pie house, yes. It still needed a lot of work. I was still kind of, fixing up, but yet I wanted people to come here and pick up their pies, but it's a distance for anybody. So I have connections in Dallas and Fort Worth area. So I would take off in the morning. Well, I'd call a friend and I said, hey, I'm going to come to Dallas. You need pies. And then they agreed. I just kind of went down all my little connections through, and sometimes I'd be gone 8 hours.
Just delivering
with a
pies.
Car full of pies, and I wouldn't come home till they were all gone, and that gets old after a while. So then just went back here not waiting, but trying to figure out the niche of getting people out here. Plus, this is special to me. I love the pie house. And I knew once people did come, just like you say, the peacefulness of it, it would slow people down. There's a good front porch, and there's a good, it kind of takes, the people that did stop by would say, oh my gosh, this reminds me of my grandma's house. This reminds. And the pies are just a little added kick.
I mean, because I live in the country, so I can imagine people that come from the city. I live in the country, and I mentioned to you, I texted my wife right away and said, this is the most peaceful place. It's just so peaceful, and it's quiet, and it's just a different feeling.
It is amazing. I'm blessed. I'm blessed by all of it, that it all came together. It's still coming together. I mean, it's always something different.
So when you started selling the pies, were you like, wow, people are really buying these, and they're buying a lot of them, and were you surprised?
I don't know if it surprised me more, if it surprised my kids more.
Did the kids ever have a pie, or you eat the pie and go, man, I can really sell this. It's that good.
They did, and I'm going to just say, Aaron, it's my mother's pie crust, the pie crust recipe. To me, that is just in anything, life or anything. That's the foundation. That is the basic of what makes a good pie. And I'm not fancy. They're my grandma's recipes, but they're tried and true. They're not all, I mean, I do, have fun with some, but I know what not to mess up, what's already been, what works, and, And so, are they the fanciest or all that? But maybe not, but they're good. And this is not bragging or anything, but I love making them. I love baking. I love the whole process. On Sundays, would be my day to make dough. So I'll make all my dough, and then if I'm still feeling it, I'll roll out my pie crust. and put it in my pans and then freeze it. And then maybe Monday comes along and that's apple. And I'll spend several hours doing apple pies. One day it'll be chicken pot pies. And one day, just whatever is up. And then I try to always have crust. So if I get a last minute order or someone needs something, I can make it. My cream pies I do to order so that they stay fresh. But I do take and bake. So I have my fruit pies, my pot pies for people, and that has really taken off. But people will come and get them, and some buy several at a time, keep them in their freezer, and then they can bake them when they want. I put directions in there. So you don't have to feel like, if you've got oh gosh, I've got to eat a full pie right now. No. Save it for when you have company or whatever. Yeah.
So how many pies do you make a week?
People ask me that, and of course that varies.
I'm sure the holidays
the holidays
crazy.
I don't really, I can't talk, but well, I can. I'll probably 25, 30, maybe 50 a week. Back there, I don't know if you noticed it in the freezer. I try to keep that stocked. Again, with pot pies, with the different fruit pies, pecan, walnut. Anyway.
Ready for those to take and bake if they want to.
Take and bake, or I can just pull them out, and then it's nice for people that have them if they take them and put them in. Someone is getting married, or something you got a shower to go to, or someone moves into a house. It's just pie is a good thing.
Yes,
it fixes everything. I have a sign that says that pie fixes everything.
and we were talking, and you had a lady come out and visit with you, and put an article in the magazine for you.
Yes.
In 2018.
2018. It was February. It was not a day like this. We were freezing. All the heaters were on, and but she did, and I'm just like talking to you. I'm thinking, oh, come on, I couldn't believe that she'd want to talk to me. And all the people that I graduated high school with do not believe she would want to. But that turned in. Well, it was unbelievable that it reached so many people that I had no idea. And then, but what came from that, it kept me busy, and also the different people that I met. Because before that, it was pretty much local. But I was meeting, they were coming, like I said, Austin. I had Arlington and this couple. They have traveled everywhere, and she will tag me, like being in Alaska on a cruise. And there'll be dessert. Well, it's not a sweet mother pie. And I just I can't believe it. I did. And she ran across the magazine in a Dairy Queen. And so those things, but then it's just all the stories that come from that. And obviously, I've never had trouble talking or visiting. And I shared that with you earlier. The pies, I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful for knowing how to bake and loving it. But the people that come in here, it's amazing who I've gotten to meet. I teach myself, and I'm not trying to be cliche or anything. It is amazing how lucky I've been.
Because of a pie.
Because of a pie. Yeah.
And it attracts people, and because of a pie, you have a space in Hood that is just unbelievable. And as we talked about, it's a space that has grown.
Right.
Your concept has grown, your vision has grown, your dream has grown. And as we walked around outside before we started, there's still a lot to be done and a lot of space to grow.
Yes. Well, and with that, I don't know if you bring me in if you need to, but March of 22, again, well, that's a few weeks before that, February, I had again told my kids, I've got to have a garage sale, and I'm going to clean. Now, I'm Betti Jo, and I don't know if you're old enough to know the show, but anyway, Petticoat Junction was a show on TV, and there was Betti Jo in that. So I thought, I'm going to call this garage. I'm just going to call it the Junction, Betti Jo's Junction. Well, anyway, my son-in-law, he thinks I never need to sleep, but he said, oh, I bet you can get, he's walking around with me out here. And he said, I bet you can get 10 vendors. I said, what am I going to do with 10 vendors? People have to shop. I mean, I can't just stare at them. I can't just feed them pie. But I'll fast forward. In what did we do this in? 5 weeks. I had 18 vendors. I had live music.
And your first time?
This was my first time. I ended up with 18
just because you want a garage sale?
I wanted a garage. I ended up not selling a thing. Well, I sold plenty of pies.
So you had vendors come that
Vendors
were
came, set up.
selling things, and
They were selling. I had live music. I had a pizza truck, 2 porta potties, and couldn't believe that. Anyway, and so it was like, it started 10 to 4. And there was not anyone.
no one
There was
came.
no one at the road, right? Well, I had gone back. I'd gone to grab a tablecloth for one of the vendors. And I looked down, and there was a line of cars. Anyway, I'm not going to cry, but it was amazing. And I thought,
Like on the Field of Dreams.
I was going to say, if only Kevin Costner had been here. But I did believe it. And I did see, I saw this. I'm not trying to get weird, but you know,
I mean,
you get into that word manifest.
Yes.
It works.
Mm-hmm.
And that
So
goes
you
along
saw
with praying too, and everything. I'm not trying to take away from, but you know, I could, and we'll talk about the silo in a minute. But I saw that silo,
and I believe that manifestation is another word for imagination, and a word I believe imagination is what God gives us to preview what we can do.
What we can do, even if we don't think we can.
Yes.
It's a wonderful thing, and it's wonderful to understand when it is happening and appreciate when you got it done. So that, anyway, in April, I'll have my 4th junction. And this past October, I had 30 vendors. So almost double the vendors.
In this space that we're outside.
In this space, I started over there on the south side. And then the next one, I put them on this side because I had a little more shade. And this last junction in last October, I had to go circle around. And then I had 2 food trucks, and I had things.
And then people just come and shop, and
they have said, I can't, like I say, I'm a little busy, running my legs off. And I don't have a formal clicker, which maybe I should get, but someone's got to sit there and click it. Over 500 people. And again, in hood. That nobody thinks exist. But I was talking to these 2 ladies. I didn't know them, but I met them. And I said, how did you find out? They said, oh, we were just driving around. We just followed the cars out here. Not at all.
So do you advertise?
I put on Facebook and Instagram, and what I'll do is I highlight each vendor. Well, then those vendors then in turn highlight. They will go and share that because I describe their business, what they're going to be selling. Well, then they share. And Facebook gets crazy, and it drives me crazy and everything. But there are good things when it's used right to get the word out. And yeah, so it is just, but to back up from that, I'm going to share this. There's this amazing lady named Pat Seeds, who I didn't know from Adam. She contacts me and wanted 4 pot pies. She'd never had a pie. So to start off with one of my pot pies, that kind of surprised me a little bit. And they're take and bake. I'll bake them if people want. But anyway, so sure, don't know her. This is all over the phone. She shows up here, in a lemon yellow pant shirt. She had told me she's an 80-year-old retired teacher. Well, don't let that fool you. She is not frail. She is not, the confidence, red lipstick, this beautiful hair. She comes on this front porch, and I thought immediately, I'm going to be her. I'm going to be like her. She just was just amazing. And anyway, so she's visiting with me, and she kept mentioning, and I hope I don't mess this name up, but I want to say Emma or Emily. Emily. Anyway, I wish I had known about you when Emma was here. I wish I had known. And I'm like, yeah, who was that? Oh, yeah, well, Emma had this. Well, come to find out, Emma was the founder, the one that started Round Top. Outside hospital, the huge Round Top. That's in every one of my country living magazines. And I just dreamed, I've never even been there, but I just dreamed. Okay, well, that is a very good friend of hers. Well, she's about to leave. We're on the front porch, and I got a picture, and then she looks and she said, you got a little round top out here. And I'm like, oh. I mean, it's like Aaron Degler saying, I'm going to do a podcast with you. And I'm like, oh, you're crazy. You're crazy. And I turned around and I opened up that door. And I thought, maybe I do. And
and it gives you that, maybe it is something pretty amazing.
And I'm grateful for it every day, but it does help to be little reminders. You know, because we get busy working and doing that part of it. But if you step back, it is pretty cool.
It's very cool.
I'm very thankful too. So thankful.
Because of all the people you do get to meet. And I mean, I wish people would really understand what's the population of Hood?
Well, they're finding us. I'll tell you that. We have meetings first Monday of every month. I would say on a good day we have 8, 10 people that show up at the meetings. There are, if you're going to consider yourself, you know, actually the people that moved out here recently, I don't even know if they know they're in Hood with the Gainesville address and stuff. But it has grown. It's hard for me to say. It could be 100, 200. I mean, you know.
And you're
putting us on the map, I'll tell you.
I was going to say,
one pie at a time.
With Junction, 500 people, those people aren't coming from Hood. They're coming from all around.
Yeah, right.
They come from the Metroplex. They're coming from all around the county.
I've had my son, one of the sons, he did a golf cart, and I had another boy help me this last auction, Junction. But take a golf, because I had people park over there on the other side of the road. And he would go, but they had cars clear down to the corner. And, but I'd get them on a golf cart.
And just bring them down. and all because you wanted to have a garage sale.
All because I wanted, yeah. And I still need to have a garage sale.
And it's what I keep hearing is thinking that it all starts not because you have this grand business plan.
Oh gosh. No. I feel this whole thing, I feel like I tripped. You know, tripped and fell and something amazing happened. Because and I have, but that's a whole other story.
As we went out back, you showed me the chandelier shed. And when I say shed, it's a shed. There's nothing. It's a shed.
But it's pretty.
But it's a pretty shed. Well, and when I say chandelier, there's actually chandeliers. One's hanging from a box spring.
Yes, you saw that.
Yes. So, and the chandelier. Share with them how the chandelier shed started.
Okay, Mr. Pledger, the neighbor that lived here, of course, had built that shed. And for a working shed, and there were no doors on it, which now I have that. That's a great friend had built those doors for me. But we were doing the parties here. Did I tell you about our pine sign parties?
Yes. Yeah. Tell them about that.
Well, so that with Sweet Mother started in January 16. My sweet friend, she has a full-time job, but teaching and coaching, but she paints. And she would do that and just put them on her front porch. Well, when we got together, I was like, I need you. And you need me because of that little catch that I wanted here at the pie house for people to come in. And I mean, it's one thing for me to decorate it, but if they, had little things that they could also get instead of just a pie, a sign, maybe they wanted for whatever wedding. And so she brought over in October 5 of her signs. And we got to talking about what can we do together, and we came up with pie and sign parties. And we knew we weren't going to have them paint or bake because this is a small area and, cleaning up and all that. And plus we weren't thinking painting with a twist. That had been done and it's wonderful, but that wasn't really my thing. Talking to Amy was, we just wanted people to visit, just to come out here, like I said, on that front porch and slow down a little bit. And which I think, if everybody was really honest, we really all kind of want that, to just slow down. And the pie house, for whatever reason, I think you get it, kind of makes that happen without you even knowing it. It is a relaxing place. So we start these pie and sign parties. We weren't slowing down, but we were letting the other people slow down. But we were as busy as ever, which is what those are up there. I know they can't see, but those are samples of all the different. We've done over 70, 75 pie and signs. So people,
so they get to buy the sign, and
they would come out. They'd put money in a kitty. We would charge for that, and they would leave with a homemade pie and a sign that was made for their group and say, we did Hello Fall was our first one. Well, it would have been all, Amy would paint them and they would, all be the same sign but different colors.
Mm-hmm.
So that group would write on the back, maybe sometimes, Michelle's party.
Mm-hmm.
And it was neat because then that next fall we would get pictures. Oh my gosh, I hung my sign back up, or I've got here's where I put mine.
Mm-hmm.
Just still that connection.
Mm-hmm.
It was so neat. And people just booked those things. Well, we were kind of busted at the seams a little bit. And I would go out to that shed.
Because they just would come have,
I
just
would put
hang
pie
out.
samples around the house.
Uh-huh.
They would order pie, that not just take their pies, they would order pies, they would see signs on the wall, they would buy
Mm-hmm.
whatever they wanted. Yeah.
And
And it
then-
was amazing. And then as that kept getting more and more, we knew we wanted to maybe check out that shed. So we cleaned it with all the shingles and tires and it was a dirt floor. I put gravel on there. And tonight, because I'm doing a wedding shower up there tomorrow, I'll sprinkle glitter all over the gravel. It'll be sparkling.
And it originally started with just a chandelier. That was an ugly old chandelier,
Oh,
$5
yes,
ugly.
garage sale chandelier that we tripped over, and we were trying to talk each other into taking it, and spray painted it, put some mason jars on it, and named the whole thing after it.
the chandelier shed,
Chandelier
which now
shed.
has tables in their chairs. And,
Yes, and
it's decorated and
It is taken. There's a lot of sweet. I've done a grandma and princess party. I had 10 grandmothers,
mm-hmm.
and they all brought their granddaughters, and had a tea party out there, and it was just the sweetest thing. It was really neat.
So it has grown from you driving all over the countryside to deliver pies
Yeah.
to signing pies, pie and signs where they come and and you said the first group stayed 5 hours.
Yes, there were 19 of them showed up on the front porch and threatening to never leave, which we thought they never would. They stayed 5.5 hours.
Then you realized we got to put a time limit on these
We got to
ladies.
cut this to 2 hours. But I've done Bible study groups, book clubs. I was telling you about the group that came from, they were Bible study from Decatur, that had grown up with their kids being young and playing soccer and different things. But when they came, and again, slowed down and didn't have soccer, didn't have anything else to worry about, they said they found out more about each other just sitting here for a couple hours visiting.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty neat.
And you have those events. You have Junction. You're working on a silo.
Silo will be my pie kitchen.
So that right next to where we're sitting at, there's a big silo, like we're talking silo, not a manufactured silo, a real silo that came from
bin. It's
grain
actually
bin that came from.
It came from South Carolina, and the wonderful guy Josh Bell, that another angel unaware, that he brought it to me from Georgia. I found him on Facebook.
Because you thought, I want a silo. And then you had second thoughts.
Well, I'm one of 4.
Uh-huh.
I didn't grow up spoiled. So Betti Jo's never been good at saying I want, and it happens. I don't get when I say I want, but I thought I knew I needed a bigger kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed more storage, so yes, in my head I said I think I want a silo, but I then told myself I was crazy, and there's no way I'm getting a silo. And anyway,
So there's a silo out there.
God and I got me a silo. There's a silo out there.
And it's been framed?
It's been framed. That guy, his name is Rooster, is Charles Dorman.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, don't get me started on him. I can talk about him forever. But he is so smart, and he cares about me and my project, and it shows, I think. So now, you saw going out there, I'm getting, whenever people come to get a pie, or they don't have to get a pie, whenever they just come out for whatever, I have them sign a 2x4, because that is how it is happening, is one pie at a time. And people ask me, is it done yet?
And everything takes a little while, because it is being done one pie at a time.
One pie at a time, and I got a little discouraged. I'm going to be honest. I don't get down and really shocked my kids, because I thought I don't want to always be doing a project, because I've always got something. And so I thought I'm going to go get a loan, and I'm going to knock this silo out, and not have to. Well, the crazy banker he approved me for a
Mhm.
loan. I don't know why in the world he did that, but he approved me. And then looking at the payments, I thought, if I had that much extra money, I wouldn't need a loan. So I said, I think I'll hang on here and wait. And then when I was sharing that with my oldest, he gave me a good perspective. He used Luck Ranch, Willie Nelson's ranch, and he said, anytime he goes out there or whatever, he lives out in Austin, that there's always 2x4 somewhere or something is partially built or something. You can tell they're dreaming and thinking of things all the time. And then he just said, just step out here. Look what you've done.
Mhm.
This didn't just happen. I mean, he wasn't just patting me on the back, but let me see just to get a perspective. It'll happen.
Because as we're looking around, it started out in 2016.
Yes, sweet mother, right.
Yes.
And before that, this was just an old, I mean, it still is an old farmhouse, the bones of it. But again, just like my pie crust, it's got good bones.
and that's what makes a good pie.
Good pie. Yeah. No bones. There's no bones. But yeah.
But you can see the dream growing. Like I said, one pie at a time, but it didn't start out, what I see today didn't start out that way, 8 years ago.
No.
It's another 2 years, it's going to look a lot different. And you even have greater visions, greater dreams for when the silo's done. That's going to be your kitchen. You still want to have those conversations, so you have plans for a space just for people to sit and visit. And places for your refrigerators and what, who do you want to employ when?
Well, that's it. It is just me.
Mm-hmm. You're doing all this.
And sometimes I get tired, but it is. I love doing the pies. I can do the pies. It is this background. I don't know if background's for the back work of folding boxes. Marketing actually is not something that I grew up with. Okay, but putting stickers on labels and tissue paper. So my whole background is special needs.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been blessed by all the special friends that I've met. Since 1982, my husband and I met at a camp where we were counselors for special needs. And we've kept in touch with so many. So that's who I hope to employ, because there is a job for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that my kids or daughters, when they come home and just help me fold boxes, especially around holidays, find so monotonous, it is very rewarding to someone else. And that goes with us too.
Mm-hmm.
Pie, rolling out a pie crust is rewarding to me. It drives someone else crazy, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, things that I'm watching you set this up. And I'm like, this is foreign. How does he know where all these things go?
Uh-huh.
It's something for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait. That is big.
Mm-hmm.
That is big to me because, well, I'll just be honest, to think, because they will get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And to think that I will be in a position
to do that.
It'll happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely it'll happen. Yes.
Yes.
Because, again, you can see it.
You can see it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that has been from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But everything has a time. And I've had to wait on some things, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It just turns out, honestly, everything turns out better. And I just calm down and step back a little bit.
And as I hear you talk and share your story, I just hear patience over and over. You're just patient. And you don't push it. You're patient, and those things come. And I think sometimes we do have to be patient because we get in a rush and we mess it up.
Mess it up, yes. If I get too much in the way, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That, if anything, needs to. Yeah.
And you're being patient, and what you had planned sometimes is not even close to what God had planned.
Exactly.
You just wanted to sell a few things at your garage sale when you had 500 people show up, 4 years later.
And so many other people were blessed by that day, which was amazing.
Yeah, so your idea is really, it really is helping others make money, get exposure. Other people become aware of what they have because of just one little idea that you said, I want to do that.
And they just believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
Believe you can do it. I know it'd be a lot easier to say, not this week.
Mm-hmm.
Or not. And I do, don't think.
So
I
what?
get
So
tired.
so what challenges have you had? Because I think that sometimes have you done things that thought, ooh, shouldn't have done that, or man, that's really hard. I don't know if I can.
Maybe overtake essentially by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that does it's maybe a little scary because I don't want to be, put a burden or anything on the kids or whatever, or leave them with something. So I do think about that. Am I going to get this done? I don't know if it's a challenge, and it's not like I lose sleep over it, but I do think about it. Now, silly challenges, and it's probably a mental, whatever you say, but the marketing part.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to talk about a business, because
really,
I just turned 62 on Monday, so this is not something I grew up with, or is even, and I'm not even great about posting a lot on Facebook. Sometimes I get in my head that, oh gosh, I don't want to see that. They're tired of seeing me, and then I do better by they can scroll then, just move on. But I'll tell you, for those people out there, when I do post, pretty much every time we'll sell a pot. It's when I get in my head that people are tired of hearing about Sweet Mother, or people are tired. No, I mean, it takes that. You do have to work the business, and so yes, I do get busy with outside things.
So do you often think of it as a business?
I'll tell you, I didn't at first. Well, I couldn't believe it, only because I couldn't believe. Oh, you should have seen me when I got my own the business cards. You remember the jerk with Steve Martin?
Yes.
When the phone books came out.
Yes.
They're not going to get that. But anyway, you know what
I know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh, yes. I just couldn't believe. I mean, I'm thinking that the company knows. Look at that. Betti Jo, has her own pipers. So that was amazing. But I was raised in New Mexico, and my sisters lived there, and I had gone, and my parents were there. But anyway, I'd gone home, and I just put up a little thing, hey, New Mexico, or hey, Carlsbad, I can't remember. Coming home, I'll be baking a few pies. So my older sister was actually out of town. I used her kitchen. Well, my brother-in-law comes in at 2 a.m. There's Betti Jo rolling out dough, and he has always been so supportive of this from the get-go. And this is 18 months into it, or a year or something. And he said, Betti Jo, no successful business person is rolling out their own pie dough at 2 a.m. He says, is this a hobby? He said, he just essentially said, you're going to kill yourself. He said, you've got to figure out, is this a hobby or is this a business? And I'm like, but I love it. He's like, that's okay. Is this a hobby or is this? So that was a good. There have been a couple of things that have helped me. That made me think how serious for Sweet Mother. If I'm gonna take care of Sweet Mother, she'll have to the business, and I'll have to treat it like a business, or it won't. I'll burn out, or something will happen. And so that changed, and then. Aaron, I didn't get into this, but in 2019, I told you a little about the camp that we met at, my special needs background. Well, we have been good friends with the director of that camp all these years. He went on, and after camping, he was the special needs minister at Highland Park United Methodist Church. Anyway, they know I had no business being in that neighborhood, but that wasn't the deal then. Vance called me up, and they were going to be building a pie and coffee shop in memory of a young man with special needs that had passed away. So he's saying, Betti Jo, what do these counters need to look like? What does this kitchen need to look like? What do we need? And I'm going through things that I didn't know, but I know, knew now. Make sure you have offices for that wake up. Make sure, different things. We would just talk over the phone. And then he would be having a meeting with the board of directors. So he'd want pies. So I'd make some pies. We'd meet in Denton or Louisville. Because I told him, I don't want to drive to Dallas. I don't want to drive to Dallas. And so we had those kind of things. And then he's like, let's take you out for lunch. And I should have known. But he said, what will it take to get you to come and just help get this thing started? And so we had a lot of conversations. But back to where my brother-in-law asked if it was a hobby or business. I was sitting in Vance's office in Dallas, in Highland Park. And he said, I want you to go home and I hope people listen to this. I want you to go home and I want you to figure out your worth.
Mhm.
Because he needed me to come up with a number of what I was going to be, well, I'll be bringing pies to them for them to bake. I was also going to be driving the distance to and from. I was going to stay there 8 hours and work with him. So again, this is Betti Jo Weber, who has no business, but a good friend of my mother's. I called her, and that was everybody needs to do that. Figure out your worth.
How hard was that?
It was so difficult. And it, again, kind of gets me, almost teary because it was so rewarding. And it did have someone else, it helped to have someone else talk me through it. But Glenda was talking me through, mileage and how much time on every pie and how much, what all this takes. And me being things that I wouldn't think of, being away from the pie house that day and all that. And we came up with a number. I can't ask that.
I can't tell them that
I can't
that's
ask
what I'm worth.
And when I went in and sat downstairs, I just pushed the paper and I had it itemized for what I was worth. Not just a pie, but me.
Yeah.
And all of me. And I pushed it and, handed it to him. And he said, all I wish is that I wish I could do more. And, and that was a little cocky. I was a lot cocky.
And did he say yes?
Oh, yeah. He met with the board and everything, and they did. So what that turned into, I would go down once a week. I would take, at the time, 20, 30, 40 of my apple and cherry pies that are taken baked. Take them, and this is run by special needs adults. And they would bake during the week, those. And then while I was there on that Wednesday, I would have a crew member that would stand by me, and I would teach them. We'd make cream pies. So, chocolate, and we'd do that for a month or so. And, breaking everything down. We broke down some of the crew members had to have it by pictures. Of course, not words, some. But there's all levels. I mean, there was a great friend, very high level. Has autism, very high level. He can run the place. He can run this. I need him. I mean, But also, I had them set up. I had folding boxes and that meticulous, creasing each corner and all that. Putting the stickers on, separating flour, sugar, and so those are my goals for here. I got them set up there.
So how long did you do that?
I'm still doing that.
You're still doing that.
I have weaned off a lot where they're doing chocolate, coconut cream, key lime. So they pretty much are getting my pie shells now. I will get them dough and
because
pie
you're not
shells.
giving out that secret.
Don't even. My two sisters, Erin, don't have.
Really? You're the one.
Yes, my mother and I talked every week. Anyway, she was amazing. And
is it written down?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in a safe.
But my daughter Rachel, she said, just put it in a box. She said, I won't even look at it till you did. She's a little hard. But have you seen that where they wanted that grandmother's cookie recipe? And she kept telling them, and all the people would ask. She said, over my dead body. And they put it on her tombstone. I think I might do that.
Over my dead body.
Yeah. Isn't that good? So I don't even think I'll do that.
So you still send the pie crust down, and
so I send the pie. I'll put balls of dough for them to, and then I'll
so
have
then they roll them out
shells, and they take care of it. And I'll still do the apple and cherry, but they're doing the cream pies. They are catering now. They have a great head manager of it
with your pie shells. Isn't that amazing that the impact that you've had, that you've taught them, and it's going out even getting more of a reach than what you could do. And not only you've taught them the skill, that's just amazing.
It's just amazing. And to back up, and I know I'm talking too long.
No, you're great.
When Sweet Mother was going, before Chances, this is the place is called Chances in Dallas, and it's within the church, another building. But before that ever happened, I was about maybe almost a year into Sweet Mother, and I told the kids, we were already doing pine sign parties. I said, I don't want to have to worry about, I need to have this many pine sign parties a month. I need to sell this many pies. I just want, whatever this is supposed to be, let it be. But to keep it going, it would be nice, maybe if in Gainesville, a business maybe needed a few pies every month for a meeting or something, but something that was consistent, right? And I had donated a Texas pie and it looks like the Texas flag, it's kind of cool, and to the Jubilee in Gainesville. And I don't think they had to make the donation or send it. And it was 2 days later, I get a phone call, and this guy says, "Oh my gosh, I saw this Texas pie. It's the coolest thing. I'm going to need 14 of them." Well, I hope I can say all this one thing, but anyway, it had to be the mayor of Gainesville. I'm like, well, all right. So I do it. A few weeks later, he's got family coming in, or he's wanting to ship him something, and he wants 14 more. So I call the kids. This is it. I'm in. Well, Aaron, it wasn't it. He'd still get it holidays and stuff, but that wasn't. But what amazes me is God took, because I'm just thinking this in my head. Yes, I mentioned it to the kids, but I'm not dwelling on it. Just if it were, whatever. And then God took my love of special needs, my love of pie, my love of needing consistent money, a little money, and he did like, I'll show you. And yeah, he had me going to Dallas, but that's all right. I got to work a little bit.
So do you have pies that you sell on a consistent every month, like to a certain organization or?
Well, something has just started. My daughter is there at the county seat, and so they have, and that was word of mouth. The girl that does my hair, it's the girl that sits behind her that does hair, was the girlfriend of one of the owners. And so I took a buttermilk pie in there, and then that turned into an apple and buttermilk, and now that's turned into their bourbon pecan. I do bourbon pecan and coconut cream, and they've had those for several weeks. So that seems to be doing well.
So do you ship pies?
I don't ship pies. Again, that's a whole other ball game, and maybe with the silo, but just the storage, that's a lot of storage and a lot. I'm just not. I have people wanting me to do it. It's hard for me to justify until I work, if maybe one day I am a bigger setup, to justify charging someone that for of what it would cost me to ship it. I just want people to just enjoy pie. And I really like the pie house. I don't want to ship it. You come here.
Because there is something special about the pie house. That they, part of the pie is experiencing the pie house.
I do believe that. I do believe that. And I think, it's good for everybody.
And from a business standpoint, you talk about it, just start with a pie, selling them, driving around. Then it's, how can I, then you're selling multiple pies. You're going to Dallas, you're showing others how to make pies. You're creating revenue for yourself there. Then you create this space that's not just the pie house, but it's everything. It's the chandelier shed. It's the trailer out back. Now you have
the rolling pin.
The rolling pin. Because it really is a little bitty.
A little venue.
Yeah.
I didn't, until someone told me it was a venue, I didn't even get it. It was a venue.
Like, what's a venue?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a venue, but
and now you have photographers coming out here,
come out.
doing mini sessions, doing sessions. You have an old car.
Yes.
Was it
57 Pontiac Chieftain. Yes.
So now you have that. From a business standpoint, you make pies, but now you have all these revenue streams, but you're still holding true to what you started with.
What started? Yeah, I know pies are what got me here. So I won't let, but it has grown into a lot.
And you have the Junction. So you have a lot of different, and I think that's so important for businesses because, yes, could you still do all this with one pie at a time? Yes. But that one pie at a time is creating all those different avenues of revenue that will help you grow and serve your greater mission.
Yes. And even the Junction has been amazing. Well, the people that I've met through that and visiting and the stories. So whenever I was highlighting them, of course people knew they were coming to my house, but I didn't ever mention anything about pies. I mean, I didn't make a big deal. I didn't highlight me. I was just really wanting my vendors to all do well. And amazing, Aaron. That was from 10 to 4. And the first one I had made, I think I had 97 pies, whatever fits in that freezer. And just to fill it and have it ready. Every pie gone. 1 o'clock. And I'm like, so then the next one, I do more. Next one, anyway. that cracks me up.
So how many pies did you make for this last one?
This last one I was maybe 120. Yeah, they were
sold out, right?
all that. 1 or 2 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
And so that's been, but I loved hearing from the vendors and how it has, because some of them are either small business starting out or just doing it for fun, whatever. But it is a happy, you got to come.
I'm going to come next year. Yeah.
I'm going to do it. It's like a home and garden. I'm going to have plants, and I've got to, little things. So.
Because I think Judy has come out here for.
She does the t-shirts.
Yes. So, and I guess I didn't fully realize she had told me the Junction. I was like, okay. But
you didn't know. You just didn't.
Yeah, I just thought, okay. And she said, it's out in the country. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But after being here, I'm like, this is a place people have to experience.
Yes, and but I do really like that it's mainly word of mouth because
it's
I kind of like it surprising people.
It's what they call on social media organic.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's organic. Because you don't pay for it. It's just word of mouth. Yeah. And I agree. I think organic is the best growth because it's like
I can control it too a little bit because it gets you do feel exposed. Like that day, it kind of hit me, and I'm like, oh, and then you start thinking things, but
because when your friend says, "You got to try this pie. This is the most amazing pie I've ever had," you have to come out to this place. It's the most peaceful place, and go, "Oh, well, if my friend said it, then I need to go there." It's different than if you see an ad on Facebook or Instagram. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and waters it down a little.
And quite honestly, Judy has told me, about the Junction. She's told me about your pies several different times. Until we had a conversation is when it kind of really hit me. And then coming out here today, it's like it really hit me.
Right.
What the impact it has, and the amount of people it touches, and the lives you touch.
It isn't.
And you talked about hearing stories, and as I mentioned to you kind of before we started that, the Mind Body Project kind of came out of me training clients and hearing that there's more than just their weight issues. There's things that have caused that in their life. And so the weights, the training is my medium. It's how we talk. Because if we sit across the table from each other and have some of those conversations, it'd be real awkward.
And it's hard to get things out like that. Yes.
And it's kind of like, and you can hear those stories when people are having pie.
Yeah. Kind of meet in the middle. It kind of breaks.
Because it's just a different atmosphere when you can discuss those things. You can share those stories over pie. And just like I said earlier too, isn't it amazing? I know you find that too. What a small world.
I just love it. I mean, it cracks me up, and it is just visiting with people. And did you find? Great.
And as we were talking about a small world, I was born in Pennsylvania. My parents, Pennsylvania. So in Pennsylvania they have shoe fly pie. And you mentioned shoe fly pie, that you make shoe fly pie, and I've never heard ever of anybody.
And let me tell you, I don't make a lot of them because not many people
know what they are. So I can't wait to tell my parents about.
I can't wait to make you one.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it.
What about rhubarb?
Well, I don't think I've had rhubarb, but my parents they talk about rhubarb pie.
And we don't grow rhubarb here. Well, a lady had come out. She did coconut cream. She'd never been out here before. She just was coming to get that. Well, then, of course, I started talking. And we're walking all around. Well, she just mentioned, I can't wait to tell my sister. I don't know anything about her sister. But she said she lives out in the country in Nebraska. Okay, well, and then she just said, tell her, you take pictures, do whatever. 2 weeks later, I get a styrofoam, it comes in the mail or UPS, whatever, beautifully wrapped freezer bag, like probably 8 freezer bags of rhubarb cut. Because we can't get it here. And not that I have a ton of people asking, but when people want rhubarb, they're serious. They want a rhubarb pie, and I don't I don't even think you can find canned. I don't know. I wasn't looking. I just wanted the real. Oh my gosh, she had to cut. Did that. This past summer was the 3rd summer she's done that for me. I've never met her.
But she sends you.
But she sends me rhubarb. Beautiful, the most beautiful. Tammy and Janet. Anyway, out there in TV land.
And those are things that, by having those conversations.
Exactly. You wouldn't know. None of that stuff would. But you do. People do have. I know I can talk people's ear off, and people are like, I'm afraid this is what happens. Now, if you go to the pie house, plan on being there an hour. You don't have to. First of all, you don't have to get a pie, and I promise, just tell me. I don't have time. I don't have time to talk. That's okay. I'll get you one this time.
You can just grab a pie and go.
You can. And I don't know if I should put this out there, but there's been times maybe I should put this. But anyway, I won't be here. So they know to come in the back.
Because country living,
on your honor.
yes, is a little different.
And I hope it doesn't change.
And because you want to keep that that atmosphere, that special.
But I think, and then here's my deal, Aaron. If people say they came, they someone took 2 pies or whatever, or didn't put, well, they must have really needed the pie then. I mean, I'm not going to be too naive, but there are worse things. But I've never had that. About that.
Because people respect the place, and they, and it's just a great space. Yeah. And it's a powerful vision if you come out here to the Pie House, and you can see it on Facebook.
Facebook, yes.
Sweet Mother of Pies.
Sweet Mother, yes. I'm not, again, my marketing. I'm not. I need to update and get some. But there's the Junction on there, and people will be,
So they can go. They can look at pictures and see. But when you think about, it's a great visualization to see, because a lot of times we have a vision, we have a dream, but we can't always see the concrete of it. And feel like they can come out here and see what your vision started, your dream started, and then what, a little bit at a time, how concrete that is. Because you can come out here, you can see, touch, feel everything. And that was once just a dream in your mind. It was just a dream.
Really, just a dream, yes.
It was just something you thought, oh, that'd be cool.
Exactly.
A thought you had.
Yes, just a thought, just amazing. Or just walking back in the door. Maybe I do. Maybe I can. Maybe. And this is something, and I've tried to share this with my kids. Why not me? If I don't do it, someone else will. So why not? Why not go for it? What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. And because of that attitude of why not me?
Yeah.
It's
fun. It's a fun way to be, I think. I mean, I like it.
Would you say this is a fun part of your life? Of your different seasons of life?
I will tell you, yes. I have 5 grandkids. Love them dearly. This is for them. They love it. And this is my life. This is it. I mean, it is a huge part. I mean, my family, and they're so supportive.
So does anybody else in the family make pies? I mean, if you give them the crust, that is.
Rachel, she's my youngest. I have been with my grandbaby being born, and someone has called up, oh, Betti Jo, I need. So I'm like, Rachel, this one.
So do
you're going to need this.
So do the grandkids, do they?
No, they're 6 and under.
Okay.
No,
so they're still
they talk, my Juliet, she's the oldest. She wants a pie house. Like, Mama
Is that your grandma's name? Mama Jo?
Mama Jo. Yes.
Mama Jo. I love that.
Yeah, it is.
I like that. It's just wonderful being here with you today, Betti Jo, and seeing how far your dream has come. And as you share with me and shared the silo, and as you point out the different things there, I can see it all. I can see the refrigerators, the freezers. I can see the counter.
Oh my gosh! Now you see it. It's gonna happen.
Yes. But when you clearly have your vision, you can explain it to somebody, and they see it too. And you do, because you pointed it, and I can see everything that you shared with me. I can see people coming in. I can see people sitting at the little table. I can see people employees behind there putting boxes together. I can see all that. I can see the smile on your face as people come up, as they drive up just to show up to get a pie. You're out there baking. They go out to see you. They stop and visit, and you get to hear stories. And it's a place that just opens up their hearts. And with them sharing with you, you get to share your life with them. Because you just live right across the fence.
Right.
That's your house. And so I can see all that. And it's just an amazing space that you can offer people that. Because I think in our busier times in life, we need a place where we can just have a piece of pie or just get a pie.
Right.
Because
just slow down.
because those pies that leave here, if they're not eaten here, they go to a kitchen table, a dining room table that a family sits around and has a different conversation that they wouldn't have had if they didn't have that pie.
Yeah.
And so there's things coming out of that pie, changing families that have a discussion, that have those things that come out that could be life changing for them over a pie that came from you. Because of just
I love hearing it come back.
It does, and I don't think we take the time sometimes to realize what we do. You think of it as just making a pie. This
it can seem small or it can seem busy, but it's.
I made 50 pies today. I made 50 pies this week. Those were just one pie after another, but those pies go to different homes and they have different impacts. And I think sometimes
all those little
ripples, yes, that go out and will continue to go out all over the country, because you have people sending you rhubarb, and and magazine writers coming to see you, and places seeing that, and podcast, that could be crazy. Could be heard all over the world, and they go, well, I'm in a different country. How do I get a pie sent to me? And then, well, you're going to have to drive down to Hood, Texas.
One pie at a time.
That's right.
Just wait for me.
Yep.
I'll get it to you.
And if you live not around, then it's worth the drive to come and get a pie from the pie house and to visit with you, and share their story with you.
I'd love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love it. And I'm just tickled that you let me share.
Yes, I'm excited you allow me to come and visit and take all the pictures and just see it. So thank you. I appreciate
it's hard. I can tell people, but you do have to come see it. I feel like you can tell people about it, and that's how it is with a lot of it.
And I think it's yes, you can tell people about it, you can see it, but it's a feeling. And I have a group in my town that I tell them I want people to pull into town and kind of like Field of Dreams. They pull up and they're not sure why they're here, but it makes them feel like no other place.
Yes.
And I wish I could bring all of them here and they get to feel, because when I pulled out, I got out of my truck. I was kind of looking for you, but I thought, well, I'll walk around, and that's the feeling I got. It's just wow. This is just, I could just feel, if you believe in energy, I think everything has energy. It has a calm, peaceful energy.
Yeah, you can't buy it. It's a gift.
And I couldn't put my finger on it, because again, I live out in the country, but I don't feel like this at home. So it is something different, and it has a different energy that I think everybody needs to come out and experience, and be a part of.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. And so where can they find you? What's the best way?
Well, as far as like
for social media, how can
Facebook, Betti Jo Weber, and then it's Sweet Mother Pies. I'm also on Instagram, Sweet Mother Pies. And I've had people Google me. That kind of cracks me up, but I guess I'm there. And then you could phone number. I don't know what you want.
We'll just they can find you on social media, but no website.
There's not a website. Mm-hmm. I think I might need to grow up though. Maybe I need a website. I'll talk to you about that later.
Yeah.
We'll talk over pie.
Okay. Good conversation over pie, because as we wrap this up, there's an apple pie.
There is an apple pie waiting for Aaron.
Yeah.
I didn't know about you.
Yeah. So I was kind of excited. So I was hoping I was going to get some pie today. So I'm pretty excited. So, but thank you, Betti Jo. That they can find you on Facebook, Instagram, and another business point is be the same across all social media. So Sweet Mother Pies is the same on Facebook or Instagram, and that's a good point, is to stay consistent against all platforms.
Yes.
It makes it so much easier to find. So
work around.
Yes. So thank you, Betti Jo, for inviting me out to Sweet Mother Pies, the pie house, and everything that's going on, and sharing with the world, because the world will hear this, about the history and that nobody will get Mother's secret recipe to her crust. Yeah.
But even as much as I talked today, I still have more stories.
So come on out. Come on out, and she'll share a story with you out at Sweet Mother Pies in Hood, Texas.
That's right. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, each of you, for stopping by. And as I tell my wife Kim every night before I go to bed, it's Bob and the Night, AA, out.